All right, we're glad to have you all here this evening. I know we're all from all different parts of the country, and we're grateful to have you joining us. Should be a lot of fun. I have to do some short introductions for myself. I'll do a short introduction and then give Gabby a longer introduction because she's much more impressive on this topic. My name is Dr. Joel Dayton. I am a chiropractor. I work a lot with extremities. So I work on a lot of athletes and people who need help with their knees and hips and shoulders. I love working with these type of people and getting them back out on the running course or whatever they like to do, back in the pool, whatever their activity is. So I've been a chiropractor practicing here in Orlando for about 7 years. Gabby is, like I said, much more impressive than me. Gabby is a two-time Ironman athlete. She's training for her third right now. She's done, Gabby's at 16 marathons. Is that right?
Yeah.
16 marathons. And how many half Ironmans? 9?
I think so. I'm not sure, but about 9, sure.
You just lose count. There's so many, but yeah. So Gabby knows a lot about keeping her body in the right shape so that she can compete in all these competitions. So she is the perfect person to chat about this with us today. She's also a massage therapist. She's also a personal trainer, and she also taught as an exercise physiologist, or I should say practice as an exercise physiologist with UCF for how many years, Gabby?
As an athletic trainer for 10 years there.
10 years.
Yeah.
So she knows her stuff. We're really, really happy to have her teaching us tonight. And I'm going to just introduce the topics, and then she's going to take over and we're going to kind of leapfrog back and forth. So let's go to the next slide, Gabby. So the things that we're going to cover today. First, we're going to go through how to prep for exercise, how to get your body ready to compete. Then we're going to be talking about core foundation, getting a good core built up. Then we're going to talk about how to build on that core by adding lean muscle. And then finally, we're going to talk about, after you've exercised, what we need to do to make sure that our muscles, our joints, our tendons and ligaments remain in good shape and have a chance to recover. So I'm going to pass it over to Gabby to talk about exercise prep first.
All right. Hold on one second. All right. Perfect. All right. So the first thing we want to talk about with exercise prep is nutrition, because nutrition is probably one of the most important aspects of athletic performance, or even just like being physically active, just being alive in general. I think nutrition is pretty important. But with that being said, we'll talk specifically today about like proteins and carbs. So proteins are a critical component of your body's tissues. They help make up your organs, your muscles, and your bones. Proteins also are synthesized into specific hormones like insulin and neurotransmitters like your dopamine or your serotonin or your histamine, those types of neurotransmitters as well. So they do play a large part in basic functioning of our bodies. Proteins are made up of amino acids, and there's 9 essential amino acids, and basically those are compounds that you have to get from food. Your body does not make those amino acids, and you have to have those amino acids in order for your body to make the protein that it needs. So in order to get those essential amino acids, we turn to food, and you find that in like all of your basic animal proteins. So like your beef, your poultry, your fish, your milk, your dairy, your eggs. For the vegans and vegetarians out there, you've got your soy or your quinoa or your buckwheat. Those are all complete carbs, or I'm sorry, complete proteins that you can get from the diet, which will help build those amino acids. The recommended amount of protein per day is about 1.1 gram of protein per kilogram of body weight. So for an example, for a person who weighs about 150 pounds, their average or their intake of protein should be about 75 grams of protein per day. There's a good range of protein for people. Basically, it'd be between 60 grams and 120 grams of protein a day. And you can break that down by, if you're eating like 3 meals a day, you'd want to have at least 20 to 40 grams of protein with each meal that you are intaking in order to get your full amount of protein. You want to avoid eating protein directly before working out. Protein's not your main, it's not your body's main source of energy. It doesn't really break it down that quickly in order to get the energy that it needs from it. We'll talk about carbs, which is your body's preferred source of energy, and also eating like protein, just because it does take your body a little bit longer to break it down. That could interfere with your performance if you take it directly before working out. You always want to make sure that you intake your protein if you're working out. Definitely after the workout would be the best time to do that. And then of course, just additionally throughout the day. By the way, guys, if you have any questions at any point, please just, you can either put it into the chat or you can unmute yourself and ask. I don't mind being interrupted. I would prefer people just ask questions so I don't feel like I'm droning on. But anyways, we'll talk a little bit now going into carbs. So carbs are your main source of energy for your body, and it provides energy for your brain, for your muscles, basically for all of your body functions throughout the day. And you want to make sure that you are eating those carbs as well. And how many of you guys have heard of like carb loading before an event? Specifically, I guess they would do that with like cardio events, like, oh, make sure you eat a bunch of protein or a bunch of pasta or something the night before a race. That is, I would say, outdated advice and probably not the best advice to take. And it's definitely not the best advice to take for if you're trying to lose weight. You don't want to do any sort of carb loading, just because one, your body will hold on to carbohydrates. It stores it in various places throughout your body. You'll store it in your liver. It stores it, like you have essentially glucose floating through your blood at times. And so you definitely have sources of glucose or carbohydrates floating throughout your body or available to your body. And when you carb load, you're just kind of adding to that. If you don't use that energy right away, it's going to turn into, will be stored, and then it won't always be as readily available as you're hoping for it to be. So especially if you're looking to lose weight, it's not recommended to do the carb loading. There's a whole bunch more about carb loading, but we'll just keep on going. Hydration is also important with your physical activity. It's important that you stay hydrated. Most of your body's water is stored in your muscles, so you want to make sure that your muscles have plenty of hydration in order to keep functioning at their optimal level. With that being said, you want to avoid sports drinks because they do have high levels of sugar that can decrease your electrolytes, and it can also increase your sodium retention. So basically too, if you're doing exercise, if you're just starting out with like an exercise program and you're probably only working out for, like 30, 45 minutes, a sports drink isn't going to do much in order to help you recover from that workout because it is such a short amount of time. And the chances are of you losing vast amount of electrolytes in that amount of time is not great. And so at that point, by taking in a sports drink, you're really just adding calories that you probably don't need. So it's best to just grab your water and rehydrate with water at that point. You also want to avoid alcohol.
Zero sugar sports
Zero
drinks?
sugar.
Is there any opinion about those?
Yes.
Like
So
no sugar or anything like that?
there's still like a small, it's a small amount of sugar in it, and I guess that would be a little bit better. At the same time, I would still go for the water, just because it's going to rehydrate you a little bit better than that. Like the type of sugar that they have in those zero sugars is I don't remember what it's called. I just actually looked it up right before we started, and it's just escaping. Yeah, yeah. So it's, I mean, is it going to help you with rehydrating? No, not really. It's not going to do much for you. So I would still recommend just regular water. But thanks for the question.
Joel, you broke up when you said the type of sugar. What type of sugar is it?
Oh, aspartame.
Okay.
Is that what you're talking about, Gabby?
Yeah, the artificial kind of sweeteners.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. You also want to avoid alcohol and coffee. Those are natural diuretics, and so they're just going to dehydrate you further, and so you want to avoid those avoid alcohol. If you're doing physical activity, I would recommend. Anyways, but again, because it is a diuretic, it's going to decrease your hydration levels and also decrease your performance. All right. You can check to see how hydrated you are by doing like a urine analysis. And if you see that little QR code there, it takes you to an Amazon site where it has, you can order your own urine strips and try it out for yourself. But it says there that the specific gravity, if it's less than 1.010, then you're mildly dehydrated. And basically what specific gravity is, it's the measurement of like how well your kidneys are working, and it measures how much water versus toxins your kidneys are able to expel, and that measures, and that's done through your urine. So with these strips, you just basically pee on the strip, and it's got like a color code here, and you can see where you are. I had a race, a triathlon on Saturday, and I did it before the race to see if I was hydrated or not. That was my goal, was to be hydrated for this race because it's been so hot here. And I would say the test came back inconclusive. It had like literally the marker from like one end of the spectrum all the way to the other. There's both of those colors on my little stick, so I didn't know what it was. So I was like, I'll just go drink some water and I'll be okay. But I could have done it again. It might have been user error. If I might have waited too long to check.
I've used it before, and I was actually dehydrated, because people always want to say, how much am I dehydrated, am I not? And I've used that same kit that Gabby has, and yeah, I was dehydrated. So it's, yeah, it's a good way to just kind of get a rough estimate of where you're at.
Yeah. So, and if that's something that you're concerned about, you want to track, definitely a good way to keep track of that. And the one that you'll probably be taken to from that, the QR code, there's different types of things that you can also test your urine for on there, not just your specific gravity. So I thought that was useful as well. Any questions about hydration before we move on? All right. So something else that you can do to help you prepare for any type of fitness routine or exercise routine is by taking supplements. And doTERRA has a supplement called Microplex VMZ, which is like your basic multivitamin. Getting enough vitamins and nutrients can have an overall impact on your health and fitness. So this Microplex VMZ, one of the things that makes it different, I guess, from other multivitamins that you might take is that all of their vitamins and minerals are, they're the offering of it is Microplex offers the bioavailability of all of those, most of the vitamins and minerals. So, which means basically that your body is able to take the nutrients and use them and hold on to them. Some other, like on the market, some other vitamin and minerals that are on the market, they don't have that bioavailability offering, and that they have some of their might be chemically synthesized, and it makes it difficult for the body to use those things. If you've ever taken a multivitamin and you notice that when you go pee, it's like bright green or something, that's happened to me before. That means you're just basically peeing out all of that other stuff that your body can't use. I've been using the Microplex VMZ for about 5 months now, and I've never had bright green pee because my body's been able to use everything that I've been taking in. So that's one of the nice benefits of this supplement here. As you can see, it has the vitamins that are needed for muscle building, and then also has your B vitamins for energy, which I can attest to. It definitely gives you plenty of energy. All right, here is our first try it out part. And before we try it out, I just want to talk a little bit about your MetaPower Advantage that you got with your kit. And basically, this is the doTERRA's collagen. And one of the nice things about this is that it contains 9 different types of collagen, which are from marine sources. Your body actually has about 28 different types of collagen. So 9 of the 28, I think, is pretty impressive. Some of the other collagen supplements that you see out on the market, they will have maybe 1 or 2 types of collagen. So that's definitely a benefit here, that you have these different types of collagen, and it definitely helps a lot. Also, that provides the precursors to energy production, which is that NMN that you see on your package. And it also has NADH, and both of those are needed in order to create your ATP, some more letters for you guys, which is your cell's source of energy. So it also helps to maintain collagen in your joints and ligaments and tendons. And I'm sure myself and other people on the call can attest to how that's helped with their joints and ligaments. Just kind of real quick, I've had some shoulder issues where I was having problems raising my shoulder or raising my arm any higher than here. And this was all this year. And within just a few months, my arm is all the way back almost to normal. So, and I attest a lot of that to the collagen that I've been taking. It's really been helpful to support all of the physical gains that I've gotten from various body work. All right,
You
one
take
thing
it every day?
What's that?
Oh, do you take it every day? Or
I do.
more than once a day, or that sort of thing?
So I just take it once a day. You can definitely take it like twice a day, even 3 times a day. And it depends on like how if you're trying to heal something, I would probably recommend like 2 to 3 times a day. I've just actually been only taking it once, and I've still gotten the benefits from it. And I think it's just a pretty amazing supplement here.
There's no danger of taking it like too much a day, right?
No.
It's not too late in the day, I would recommend.
Yeah.
Oh, right. Yeah.
Yeah.
Earlier in the day, because it provides energy, and if you're trying to get to sleep, then it doesn't work, or I mean, then it keeps you awake or something like
Oh,
that.
it works. It works.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
Yeah. So yes, definitely. I was going to say, so tonight, guys, if you want to try it, you're doing it at your own risk because it will give you energy. And so if you're planning on going to sleep after this, don't take this. So it might keep you up. I'll tell you, and I'll show you how I take it. I'm just going to, if you want to try it out and you want to mix it, you can get some water and like maybe take a sip and then save it for tomorrow, but or you can even just like kind of dip your finger into the packet and just taste it that way. If you're just dying to find out what this tastes like, you can do that too. Or you can just save it for tomorrow and try it all tomorrow. But so basically what I recommend is having cold water I've found that it tastes a little bit better with cold water. The taste of it is like an orange flavor, and because it is from marine sources, it has a tendency to have like a little bit of a fishy flavor to it. But I found that if I have my nice cold water, it's not quite as fishy, and it's just definitely more of an orange flavor. So basically I got 8 ounces of water here. I'm just gonna dump it all in. I've got my little mixer here. I'm just gonna mix it up. And that's it. So it's pretty easy to make, doesn't take long at all. And it's a nice orange flavor.
You don't want to tonight, Gabby?
Oh, that's all I'm having. I'm just gonna save it for later. I don't think
do you call your mixer a spoon?
No.
Oh.
This is
Really
a
a mixer.
spoon. No,
Spoon?
you can use a spoon. Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Those mixers work as well. Yeah, if you're not fancy. So yeah, if you are wanting to try that out, if you like the taste, I don't have my screen on, so I don't know who's all taking it or who's all trying it, but did anybody try it and want to comment on the flavor or anything? Nope.
Not many people have their screens on, but hopefully you guys get to try it at home. It looks like Pearlie's trying it. I will tell you, I can't have it at night because I've been taking this for about 6 months I was having some hand issues, and I started taking it for some hand issues, and also to help make sure my knee stays in check. I took it at 6:30 at night a couple weeks ago. Think because I didn't want to miss, I try not to miss a day. And I was up every 2 hours. So, and I didn't feel buzzed. It's not like a caffeine buzz, sugar high buzz. It's just like for me, it's just like a consistent energy. So I always try and take it at like 3 o'clock in the afternoon when I hit my lull. That's my prime time. Some people need to have it in the beginning instead of having in the early morning instead of having a coffee or something like that. They'll do this. That's another thing. Don't put this in hot water or coffee, or don't put it in hot drinks, because it will denature it. So it actually isn't as effective because of how the collagen, how they've arranged it in this. It's called tripeptides, and if you put in hot water, it will denature and it will not give you the benefit that you want. So,
can I say something?
Yeah.
Okay, I can agree with Gabby. With cold water, it does taste better because I drink room temperature water and it's like, eh. So I do prefer with cold water, most definitely.
Yes.
It tastes much better, and I'm enjoying it right now. So thank you guys.
Yeah, thank you. That's awesome. All right. And then I'll turn it over to Joel.
Awesome. Yep. I want to talk about a little bit about, so this is more exercise prep, right? So I'm going to talk about like physical exercise prep. Things that I like to use all the time in my practice. I will use these on a multiple times a day basis. These 2 oils are 2 of my favorites. One is lemongrass and one is copaiba. They're both there on the screen. These are amazing. This is actually what I used. I used the lemongrass specifically for when I was having, when I tore my ACL and I was recovering with that. I will tell you the whole story, not today, but if you ever want to hear the whole story, I can tell you the whole story of how I helped heal my ACL. But lemongrass is great for ligaments and tendons. So if anyone has like tendonitis or things like that, this is a great oil to use topically. You can actually put it directly on, and it has healing properties that help the ligaments and tendons and other soft tissues to be able to heal more naturally. Copaiba, this is like a natural anti-inflammatory. So there's a lot of cool science about copaiba that I love. But this, I again use topically. You can put it directly on the skin and you rub it on. I recommend like 2 to 3 drops of this when you're trying to work on a tendonitis or something like that. 2 to 3 drops a couple times a day. And you just rub it directly in. And it has a great, like I said, this is great for helping ligaments and tendons, so tendonitis issues. And this is great for helping to take down inflammatory processes. I will tell you, if you're using this, please, lemongrass, it can be a little bit irritating to the skin. Not for everyone. For me, it doesn't bug me. But I have had a couple patients that of the hundreds of people we've used this with, we've had a couple people that have a skin irritation. They're not allergic. It's just very, very strong. Okay. So I always use it in conjunction with something like copaiba or a fractionated coconut oil. Okay. So that's something I love to use. Gabby, you want to forward the slide? Perfect. So another thing that is near and dear to my heart is preventative care, right? So whenever someone's going to work out, go for a big run or a race or something like that, if they can do it, I love to make sure that their knees and shoulders and whatever are lined up, that they're moving properly, and that the muscles around them are firing properly. So adjustments are awesome. If you've ever done kinesio tape, that can be very, very helpful to keep joints moving the way that they're supposed to also. Now let's talk a little bit about creating a foundation. So before we can add on lean muscle, like Gabby's going to talk about, we need to make sure that we create a good foundation. And a lot of people talk about the core, right? What the core muscles. So there's a professor, he actually is retired now, a PhD up in Ottawa in Canada, named Stu McGill. And he studied back for 40 plus years. And he studied the back and how to best keep it stable. And he used these 3 exercises. They're called the big 3. And it's a combination of curl ups, bird dog, and side bridges. They're not hard exercises. These are what I use in my office. This is how I stabilize people's core in order to make them ready to be able to exercise more thoroughly. You can look these up online. There are plenty of people that have these online. You can look up Stu McGill Big 3, or if you write in the chat, I can send you my exercises. I have them recorded. I did a recording myself, and I'm happy to send those to you. These are fantastic for getting you ready to do more strenuous exercise. And then the next thing that I recommend, nope, you're good, Gabby. The next thing that I recommend for helping to create a good core foundation is getting your latissimus dorsi working properly. And if you're not going to do it with weights, which if you just want to get moving and get started, walking with a large arm swing, so you're talking arms flowing out here, that will cause your latissimus dorsi to fire. And the latissimus dorsi is a muscle that goes all the way from the shoulder into the back. It takes up a huge part of the body, as you can see here, of the back, excuse me. And it's the largest back stabilizing muscle that you have. So if, again, stabilization of the core, if you get that stable, then you will be able to have a lot more stability on the extremities when you add more muscle to the other parts of your body. I'm going to throw it back to Gabby. Gabby's going to talk about how to add on to the core.
Yeah, perfect. Thanks. So I know, like, we hear some people, if you're new to exercise, or if you don't enjoy exercising and people are telling you to start lifting weights, you're like, oh, why do I have to do that? Well, it definitely helps with a lot of preventative type of issues. So if you look to the graphic that we have there, there's been a big rise in chronic diseases in America. 6 in 10 adults in the US have at least one chronic disease, and then 4 in 10 adults have 2 or more chronic diseases. And so the chronic diseases that they're talking about specifically are listed there, which are heart disease, cancer, chronic lung disease, stroke, Alzheimer's disease, diabetes, and chronic kidney disease. And lifestyle risks for contracting those chronic diseases are listed below, and those include tobacco use, poor nutrition, lack of physical activity, and excessive alcohol use. So we've kind of talked a little bit about nutrition, and we're going to talk a little bit more about the physical activity, specifically building muscle. So building muscle will definitely help reduce your risks of developing those chronic diseases. Muscular dysfunction and increased injury have been known to, or one of the major causes of people going on disability. When you are doing muscle building or lifting weights, you're definitely building muscle, kind of making your body stronger, and that can also decrease in the occurrence of the muscular dysfunction or injury, which might lead to putting a person on disability. And then just prevention of injury is one major thing with building muscle, and it just helps with it can increase your likelihood of like doing all of your daily activities, making things a lot easier. You use your muscles for everything that you do. All right, so some of the benefits with building lean muscle, physiological benefits include cardiorespiratory efficiency. It can enhance beneficial hormone and cholesterol adaptations. Weightlifting will help with decreasing cholesterol by increasing your good cholesterol or your HDLs. Muscle is a metabolic tissue, so it helps to increase your metabolic efficiency as well. And it also increases bone density. And as we age, specifically women too, they tend to lose bone density and are always cautious of developing osteoporosis. So weightlifting can help with preventing osteoporosis from developing. Some of the physical benefits include decreasing body fat. You can increase your lean body mass, which is obviously just building muscle, and then increasing tissue tensile strength, which are your ligaments, tendons, and muscles. And basically with those last 3 things, I've noticed that with me personally, the beginning of this year, every morning I would wake up in just a lot of pain. Like I'd wake up and I'd get out of bed and it just hurt to move all the time. And I started lifting weights about February. And since then, like all of my general aches and pains have gone away more or less. And I think that is because I've been lifting weights in addition to, of course, all the different supplements I've been taking, but I attribute that a lot to the weight training that I've started. All right, so when you're starting any weight training routine, as Joel mentioned, I was a personal trainer for a period of time, and one of the things we always did was test people's body fat to find out like how much body fat do they have. So we'll talk a little bit about lean body mass. Basically what that is your total body weight minus your fat mass, and that gives you an idea. That's a good measurement of like how to track your progress when you're doing an exercise program, is to see that your lean body mass number is always going up, is always increasing. That means if that number is going up, but then your fat mass has to decrease. And so that's basically your goal with a weight training program. Your lean body mass includes the weight of your organs, your skin, your bones, your body's water, and muscle mass. So you're probably asking, like, how do I even figure out what my fat mass is? And that is a good question, if you were asking or wondering that. There's different ways you can figure that out. With the, I guess, like the most convenient way would be to use like what you see pictured here on the screen, which is a bioelectric impedance monitor for an analyst. And I don't know if you guys have seen that, but It's the thing where you hold and it'll tell you basically what your body fat percentage is, and also gives you what your BMI is. And your BMI is your body mass index. And your body mass index is basically based on your weight, height and weight. And they determine how much body fat you have based on that, which isn't always accurate. And the example I use often is like, if you think of like Shaquille O'Neal when he was like at his prime and his career, he's a pretty big guy, and he definitely has had at that point probably like a 3% body fat percentage or 7%, somewhere between there. But because of his weight, he probably was showing up on his body mass index as being overweight or obese even. And so it's not always going to be the most accurate, but it does give kind of a good general guideline for us average people who aren't 7 feet tall playing in the NBA, right? So that is something to keep in mind. The bioelectric impedance analysis monitors, they can help give you kind of like a good guideline too. One of the things I want to point out is if you are using something like this, you want to make sure that you're using it at the same time of day, every time you use it, and also kind of under the same conditions. Because with this specifically, it's not going to also be the most accurate. It does, what it does basically is it sends like a light electrode, or like a electric current through your body and through your tissues. And the idea is that it will travel through muscle faster than it will travel through fat. And so because muscle holds your body's water, it really depends on how hydrated you are at the time. So if you're, like we mentioned, if you're not very hydrated, your muscles aren't going to be holding that much water, and it might construe your results to thinking that some of your muscle is fat because it's not moving as quickly as it should through those tissues. Just something to keep in mind. So if you're taking it like in the morning, every time you do it, that will give you a more accurate read for your body. And then it will be helpful for you if you're wanting to use something like that to keep track of your progress during your fitness journey.
Gabby, can I just add, you can get one of those fairly cheaply on like Amazon, or if you really want to take one, or take it and you don't have one of these, we have one in our office if you're around us. Or as Mark pointed out, he's got one in his scale. There's scales that have them built in now. So
yeah, definitely. I have one on my scale, is what I use too. All right, so now we're going to learn how to build lean muscle. And again, being a personal trainer, every time I have a client who doesn't want to build muscle because they don't want to get big and bulky, like our She-Hulk there, I always say, don't worry, you're not you're not going to get big and bulky just by lifting a few weights. If you've ever seen bodybuilders and their routines, they definitely put a lot of time and effort. There's a whole science behind how to build muscle, how to get bigger, and then just how to build muscle and stay away from the big and bulky type of muscles. So with that, there's muscular endurance is the best way to, lift weights and to stay kind of leaner. And it's also a good base to have whenever you're starting off with a weightlifting routine. So this would be like the next step to Joel's. Once you've got your good core built, then you want to go into like a muscular endurance type of activity. And the reason being is because with muscular endurance, you're usually using lighter weights and you're just doing higher repetitions. And so this will give you the opportunity to, like I said, just kind of build like a base strength. And then if you feel like that's good for you, you can always keep that up and just continue with your muscular endurance. If you feel like you're wanting to build bigger muscles and you want to get a little bit bigger, then you would switch to a different type of way to weight lift, which focuses on hypertrophy, which is just increasing muscle size. And so to do that, you'd want to use heavier weights with fewer repetitions, and you'd have longer rest periods. That's kind of like the basics of the science behind the two different types of ways to lift weights and how to gain muscle and muscle mass. So with your workout routine, the American Heart Association recommends that you work out 30 minutes of moderate activity 5 times a week. And that could be, it doesn't always have to be a weightlifting routine that you do. That can also include like cardio, or even just like the walking that Joel was talking about, and even doing the core exercises that Joel mentioned as well. You can include that in your 30 minutes of moderate activity. All right, and so there's different modalities that you can use for weight training as well. I have these listed in kind of like a progression, if you will. The machines, if they are available to you, if you have access to machines, I think that's a great way to start out with the weightlifting routine. One is because the machines will take you through the correct range of motion. For instance, if you're doing a shoulder press and you have your machine, it's just going to allow you to go straight up and back down. That's the only motion that you can do with that. And so if you don't know how to work out, or if you're not sure what a certain movement should look like, the machines will help you and will basically train your body and how to perform those movements correctly. And then also they're convenient because it's easy to pick your weight. Usually it's just a pin that you pull out and stick. And you can find out which weight is good for you. If it's too heavy, you don't have to worry about injuring yourself because you can just drop it and it's not gonna like fall on you or anything like that. So in my opinion, the machines are probably a safe way to start to learn how to do weightlifting. Another easy way to do weightlifting if you're just starting out is using just your body weight. I've been weight training for years and I still just do my body weight, and some of those are my hardest workouts ever. I really enjoy body weight training. You can do that anywhere. You can, obviously, wherever you go, there's your body and you can do an exercise. Some body weight exercises include like push-ups, squats, lunges, like even pull-ups or get considered body weight activities. And you can get creative with it and just kind of change things up as well. So there's always a variety of things to do with your body weight. Then if your body weight is becoming too easy, or if you want a little bit of a challenge, I recommend adding those elastic bands. I don't have a picture of those here, but the bands are good too, because it does provide a little bit of resistance, and it kind of progresses your body weight activities into something that's a little bit more challenging, because you do have to use more of your stabilizer muscles, and with the bands, you've got kind of like a good resistance going through the range of motion. Free weights are, I guess, would be the next level. And the free weights include like the dumbbells or the kettlebell that you see there, or like the barbells too. And those are a little bit more advanced, in my opinion. You want to make sure that you've had, that your form is really good when you're using these types of modalities, because you don't want to get injured. So making sure that either you have someone who's experienced who can help you with the form if you're unsure. That could be like a personal trainer, or even somebody who's just been working out for a while. I'm sure there's lots of tutorials online that will help with that as well, as far as like figuring out what is proper form. But with dumbbells, barbells, kettlebells, you have a little bit more variety of exercises that you can do. And with these, again, injury it can increase your risk of injury if you're not sure what you're doing. If you have a weight that's too heavy, you might drop it on yourself. Or even if it's not too heavy, if you just get tired of that weight and you can't hold it, there's a possibility of injury there. And then one of the reasons I do enjoy free weights though too is because it does require more muscles to use those activities or use those modalities. You have to use all of your stabilizer muscles in order to say like lift a dumbbell overhead. You have to make sure that you're keeping it in this range of motion here and you're not letting it fly all over the place, which it can do because there's nothing attached to it. So just something to keep in mind. And then once you've established a pretty good base and you have like a good background of your weight training, and you want to maybe make it a little bit more difficult and include like a cardio and weight training type of workout, interval training would be good for that. And one of the fads, I guess, I don't know if I call it a fad, but one of the ways to do that is the high intensity interval training, or HIIT training, is very popular. And basically it's doing different, like 30 seconds of an intense training, and then you have like maybe 10 or 15 seconds of rest, and you're just like bringing your heart rate up and then bringing your heart rate back down. So it's a good way to incorporate your cardiovascular training and weight training at the same time.
Can I make a suggestion about
Yes.
an interval training that I like? So I love free stuff. If I can have free stuff, I like free stuff. So there's a trainer on YouTube called, they have a group called HasFit, HasFit. And they have, Crystal and I have done their interval training, and we really like their interval training because they are very careful about what they do. They're very good about beginners and actually intermediate people using their program, but they also have modifications on everything. So you can say, okay, I can't quite do that yet, I'll work up to that. So if you want to try interval training, want to move into that, it's a great free option for you on YouTube.
Awesome, cool.
Yeah.
Thanks, Joel.
Yeah.
All right. So now that we've done all of this exercise and training, we also want to keep in mind that in order for us to be able to maintain and train at our optimal levels, we have to incorporate recovery into our training. So great recovery does equal great future workouts, and it just makes you a more happier person if you have good recovery as well. So I've listed some recovery goals here. Number one is physical rest. You want to activate your parasympathetic system. And so basically what that is, you guys have heard of your flight or fight system. That's your sympathetic nervous system. So your parasympathetic nervous system is just the opposite. That's your rest and digest system. And that is huge in helping your body to recover from any type of physical stress. In fact, actually, when I was training for my Ironman, my coach at the time, he actually wrote in naps for me. Like every weekend I had a 2-hour nap before I did anything else. So I absolutely love that. And I never missed a nap with that. You also want to be able to reduce your inflammation and swelling. You want to reduce muscle soreness. You want to also increase your blood circulation. And recovery time can vary. With weightlifting specifically, since we have been talking about that, it's recommended that you rest at least 2 to 3 days before working out the same muscle group. If you're working out like your arms every day, you're not giving the muscles in your arms a chance to recover. And every time you do lift weights, you're going to cause a little bit of like muscle damage or tissue damage to your muscles. And so it's important that you give them time to repair in between workout sessions. Another way that you can help your body recover is by taking some supplements. And again, we've got the doTERRA supplements here, Alpha CRS Plus, and then the Z Omega essential oil, omega oils. I'll talk a little bit about both. The Alpha CRS supports production of cellular energy, which can help with the repairing of your cells. It also helps to reduce inflammation. It contains polyphenols, which act as antioxidants, and that can protect you from developing certain diseases like certain cancers, certain neurodegenerative diseases, cardiovascular disease, and even diabetes. So the alpha-CRS is helpful with recovery in that sense. And then the Z-omega complex is a blend. So the Z-omega actually is really nice. It's a blend of the certified pure tested grade essential oils, and it also has the marine and plant sourced omega fatty acids in it. It helps, in addition to supporting like joint and brain health, the omega oils can decrease the chance of having a heart attack by 9%. So that's pretty impressive. It also has a compound called astaxanthin in it, which has been shown to increase circulation and decrease blood pressure. So the Z-omega complex is very good for cardiovascular issues as well. Oh, and one more thing. So it helps to, if you guys remember, we talked a little bit about the Vitamax DMZ. That is, if you take all three of these, they're going to just like work synergistically to help if your optimal levels of health. I've been taking all three of these since February, I suppose, and I can attest that it has helped with like increasing my energy. My muscle soreness has gone down. I don't get quite as sore. I don't get quite as sore. If I do get sore from working out, it doesn't last nearly as long as it used to. Like my muscle soreness will be gone within the day. And so I've been able to keep up all of my workouts, and I don't have my same excuses of not doing workouts anymore because of all of these supplements. So I guess that's a good thing, right? All right, next guys, we get to try out your other thing that you have in your packet, which is the Deep Blue Rub. And this is fantastic as well. It helps with like any sore muscles, any aching muscles. It also has the blend of the certified pure tested grade oils in here. It's a very potent little rub that you have. And in my opinion, I think it works better than like your Icy Hot or your BioFreeze because of the essential oils that are in it. One, this is all natural. You don't have any other chemicals that are going to be trying to be absorbed into your body. And the essential oils, they do just cross into your blood barriers so much faster than anything else I've tried. And it does really help, and it feels really good. So if you're anything like my massage clients who've come in, I'm sure a lot of people, you have some stress in your shoulders. If it's not in your shoulders, maybe you have another place on your body where you're feeling some muscle tension or maybe some muscle soreness. So we're going to go ahead and try this out. Now you've got a lot of rub in here, so you don't want to use the whole thing just because it is a lot. And like I said, it's potent, so a little goes a long way. So go ahead and open up your pack, and you can just squeeze like a little bit out onto your hand and your fingers. I'm going to put it on my shoulder here. I had some shoulder work done today, so it's a little achy. I'm just going to rub it in and enjoy the nice smell that it has. In my opinion, I don't feel like this is too mentholy of a smell. Like Icy Hot is pretty strong menthol smell that I don't like, but this is more mild in my opinion. All right, does anybody who's trying it have any reactions to it that you want to share?
Can I just say something that I love about this? You talked about the oils. This has something called helichrysum in it. It's an oil that comes from a tiny little white flower. It's super, super helpful with healing. So when you're talking about, oh, what's the difference between this and Icy Hot or Bengay or whatever people use, usually that's just a synthetic peppermint or wintergreen that they're using that you're putting on topically. This actually has oils that have properties that actually help heal tissue rather than just making it feel nice. And all of these, none of these are synthetic. They're all they're all plant based. They all come from plants, directly from plants. So that's something that I love. And that something that a lot of my patients love is that, oh, great, you're just using a natural product on me.
Yeah.
Something else that I find as well that's helpful is the fact that it does have these oils in it. And so it really can penetrate the tissues and go work in the cells and be able to help provide anti-inflammatory effects, or even tissue repair, or like some of the injuries that you were describing, like even just the micro tears from doing weights. It can actually work at that cellular level as opposed to just provide a soothing, cooling effect, as Joel was saying.
Yeah, definitely.
I have a question. What's the difference between the packet that we received in the envelope compared to the stick? Is there a difference?
I was using the deep blue stick right here. So
Yeah, I have it too, so that's why I was wondering.
yeah, okay, yeah. So
yeah.
one thing that the stick has that the one in the envelope that you had doesn't have, this has, this has copaiba in it. Copaiba, again, that's one of my favorites that you put on directly on to help take down inflammation. It's just a little bit different application, as you can tell from using it on the stick. It has more of a roll-on effect than the massaging effect that you have with the rub. So it's got a little bit different ingredients, most of the same ingredients, but it has extra it has copaiba, which the rub does not have.
And I have another question, because I do have the deep blue essential oil. Can I put that on top also, is that okay?
Yeah, I've done that. I've done that with patients in the office for sure, and have no problems, no contraindications that way.
Okay, good to know. Thank you.
Yeah.
Good questions.
So one thing, just also, if you have just rubbed that on yourself, make sure you don't go rub your eyes now with your same hand that has all the stuff on it. It will burn.
Or anything sensitive. I should put like
ears.
nothing sensitive, because you'll want to wash your hands nicely before you use that.
That might be one of the perks as well to having this stick, is you don't get it on your hands.
True. Yeah, that's true.
All right. Any other comments? All right. Well, in addition to post-workout use, you can use oils again, and these are kind of the same oils that we just talked about, or that Joel had talked about. I love the copaiba too, for the anti-inflammatory process, or my gosh.
Properties.
Thank you. Yes. I really enjoy using copaiba, and I feel that it helps a lot with the anti-inflammatory process. And lemongrass, again, when I use that for my shoulder. I've been using that on my tendon in the front of my shoulder here. And normally I don't use it after workouts so much as I use it for after a long day of massaging people, but I still kind of get like kind of the achy feeling. And the lemon, I use the combination actually. I do copaiba and then the lemongrass, and definitely it helps, and I feel ready to go for the next day of massages. So it's really just a good combination of those two. I enjoy both. All right, and then lastly, some different recovery tools. There's different ways you can recover, and we're just going to talk about a few. I enjoy like a good stretching routine, especially right after workouts. It helps me feel like my muscles are going nice and elongated after all this contraction that I've been doing, just to stretch them out and get them nice and long again. That feels really good. there's also like assisted stretching places that are popping up all over the place. And I feel like those are really good too, because all you have to do is just sit back and relax and let the person stretch you and do all the work for you. And you just get the nice benefits of the stretch routine. We already talked about like how nutrition and supplements can help with that. Again, nutrition is so important, and the supplements are very important too, because they can help give you everything that you can't get from your food, or that you just might not get within your diet. And then of course, a massage therapy, that's my baby. So I am a big component of massage therapy. That's going to help you get into that parasympathetic state. I'm famous for having all of my clients taking naps during their massage, which shows that I'm at least helping them to relax to some point. And when I'm doing my massage therapy, if the person is that relaxed, I feel like their muscles are more relaxed too, and that makes my massage technique a lot much better. And they feel like I've actually helped them. And I'm like, well, you're the one who was able to relax, so you did all the work. And then I just wanted to also throw in one last thing is cryotherapy. So if you can kind of feel wherever you put your deep blue rub, how it's kind of cooling, that always just feels really good. But if you want to experience something like that's more cooling, there's different ways you can do your cryotherapy. I think like the big thing that's going around now that you might see on all of your social medias is the cold plunges. Those are great way to experience cryotherapy. Basically what that helps with, it does help with reducing pain, and also helps with reducing inflammation. If you don't want to invest into a cold plunge, you can always just take a cold shower. If you've heard of Wim Hof, he's a fan of cold plunges too, but then also cold showers. He says that there's just as much benefit from a cold shower as there is from a cold plunge too. So those are just some ways that I found that I use to help myself recover. And I enjoy doing all of those. All right, and that is it, you guys. Do you have any questions, or do you have anything that you'd like to add, ways you like to recover, things that you found that have been helpful for you?